And that leads us to our very next story. And this brings us all the way back to the 60s. So we talked about Russia, we talked about China, now we talked about the US. And there's a fascinating story. And this is the time that the CIA tried to turn an ISD officer, or as they called it at that time, Singapore Special Branch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Someone from the inside.
Yeah. Okay. So from 1960 to 1961, the CIA attempted to recruit Yung Siu Wah, an inspector at the SSB, as a mole to provide them with sensitive security intelligence. And how it was resolved was, they made an approach to him. 3 days later, he told his superior, and the superior told the Prime Minister, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew at the time, and PM Lee authorized a double agent operation with Wah playing along to the CIA. So here's the thing. While meeting the CIA officers in a safe house, SSB agents, Singapore agents who had been earlier deployed around the house, moved in to make arrests. So this is another, if you want to talk about Hollywood style, this is incredible. The sting operation, phenomenal. I'm reading to you something I found online that's purportedly written by Mr. Yung Siu Wah himself, okay? So he said, the final test that the CIA put me through was to put me through a lie detector test. They regarded my recruitment as so important that they brought 2 veteran polygraph experts from the war in Vietnam, in Saigon, down to Singapore to conduct the test. I was completely unprepared for it, and it caught me with my pants down. Not literally, but because of the sting operation, they're gonna know if you lied on the polygraph. So I was warned that the 2 polygraphers were vulnerable, and their personal security could not be compromised in any way at any cost. So basically, the point being that if it's down to them or me, it's me lah. I'm gonna get shot lah. So I was placed in the most vulnerable position. If I were to go through with the polygraph test, I would be exposing myself as having betrayed them. Because one of the questions that the polygraphers would put to me was whether I had reported my CIA recruitment to the special branch. Whatever it was, I think the polygraphers were experienced and shrewd enough, and there's not an earthly chance I could pass the polygraph test. So what happened? He was desperately trying to find a convincing excuse to not do it, because according to him, they would do anything, not excluding assassination, to protect their security. Wow, dangerous time. So, it's a matter of life and death here. And what do you think the excuse was that he gave?
Put it down. It wasn't me.
I have never experienced such a procedure, and I feel my health will be adversely affected.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. That's not a great excuse, man. It's like, oh, no, I don't take the vaccination because... So what happened there? Even Mr. Yung himself admitted it was such a puerile excuse, it could not even convince a common man. Strangely enough, they said they need to discuss this amongst ourselves, and they left me alone for a bit. After what seemed to be an eternity, they told me I could go, and then they'll do the polygraph test another time. So he got the hell out of Dodge, he got the hell out of the house, and as soon as he emerged from the house, the special branch arrest teams which had been deployed around the house moved in to make the arrest, and they arrested all of them. There was some Hollywood-style pursuit when the 2 polygraphers managed to escape in a car, but they were eventually captured. The aftermath of this story is quite familiar to everyone. The CIA were deeply embarrassed, and they offered LKY a $3.3 million personal bribe. They said, we'll either give it to you or to your political party, you can do whatever you want with it. But of course, LKY is is a very shrewd person. He said, the minute you take this money, you are beholden to them. You are done for, you're dead in the water. So he said, no, I don't want $3.3 million as a bribe. I want $33 million foreign aid to Singapore, openly and transparently.
Wow.
So basically, he took them to the kosh. He talked about a good negotiator. He'll say, he talked about, the art of the deal. This is the worst deal in the history of deals. He didn't make that deal because they refused to. They said no, and he let them go. Now, 5 years later, apparently, he went on national TV and he reviewed this to the American public. Here's the silly thing. Obviously, the American State Department came out and said, no, this never happened. And LKY, who he keeps receipts, he took out a letter from the Secretary of State Department, Dean Rusk, and said, your secretary wrote this apology letter to me. You want more? I've got recordings. I can put it up onto...
Classic.
And then, unfortunately, Congress had to go back and say, I'm sorry. We didn't check our records. We didn't check records. No one told us, so yeah, we're sorry. Swept under the table.